Welcome to Football Tussle, guys. And today I'll be taking over today. Something a bit different, So welcome to Football Tussle. Tage the Grand Champ, as you know me. You got CIC wearing the Liverpool shirt. And should I say, without further ado, I'm gonna let you just take the floor because this weekend, in fact, have you got 7 Up with you today?
Aha, there you go. 7 Up.
Woo! I blow myself. I got my 7 Up in my mug, but well done. Straight to that.
I'll just open it just to make sure you hear it. 7 Up free, they said. Hopefully, we get some sponsorship deals as well.
Woo! How many days in the week? Manchester United, 7 days.
7 days. They said that is it De Gea? Oh, I said Ed De Gea. He said De Gea said he's open 7 p.m. on Sundays. Drinking well.
Woo! Listen. I'm gonna let you just take the floor and just I want to hear your opinion about the game, and I'm gonna ask you probably 1 or 2 questions.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Definitely
man.
wonderful game. What's it called? Everything came out all together in one. What's it called? It was the Liverpool of old. The Liverpool of old. High press, midfield working. This is the midfield that I've been lambasting all season, even though it's one game, yes, but let's get excited anyway. And what's that?
So it was the same midfield, Endo, Fabinho,
yeah, there you go.
Elliott, someone different.
And then brilliant game. First half was tight. What's it called? Because Man United still had a couple of chances. Bruno Fernandes and then Rashford. But yeah. Gakpo. He listened to me a couple of weeks ago, and he's come so strong into the team. It was a good choice because he had him. Klopp had a choice between him and Jota, and he made the right decision. That front three, they're all different kind of elements in that front three.
They're different.
Look at front three that Liverpool have come up with. Wow. And then the second half, it was non-stop fire, and they couldn't even handle it. Salah in the last few weeks or the last maybe 3 weeks, whatever, he's turned back to the Salah of old, the Egyptian king. He showed why he's been paid so much money.
It's true, breaking records now.
I tell you, now he's now overtaken Robbie Fowler for the all-time most goals for a Liverpool player of 129 now. And even the records of Man United conceding 7. I think the last time they did that is 1931, or they were saying there. It's the heaviest defeat in the Premiership. There was all sorts going on.
Some crazy stats, man. Flipping Salah was making Martinez look like a schoolboy.
It's true. I heard someone say that. Someone said, on social media, they sent Martinez back to Ajax.
They did.
He was on his farm. Sent him back to Ajax. Didn't even know what he was doing.
What they did was they sent him back, brought him back. There you
go.
He was like, Leo, let me just.
You want to sign for us, or do you want to stay at Ajax? Sign for us, stay at Ajax. And that's what that dirty butcher of Ajax or Holland gets for elbowing Salah. That's what you get. Salah won't do dirty. He'll make you look dirty by doing you like that. And Luke Shaw. What's it called? You name it. Casemiro. They all had howlers. Liverpool were brilliant. And what I love about it is all the goals came from the front players. Capo brace, Nunes brace, Salah brace, even Bobby Dazzler, the old Dazzler. Brilliant stuff. And the reaction there from Carragher, taking a picture, looking at the picture of Guy Neville. That was the icing on the cake.
The laugh of Carragher was beautiful.
It was in the background there. But for me, wonderful performance there still. As I said, Liverpool of old. What they need to do now, because I was saying the last few weeks there, I was saying top 4 was gone, but now they've come with that brilliant resurgence once again. That's 5 straight clean sheets. What's it called in this 4 wins from the last 5? It's brilliant. Go on.
And I'll say 2 things. One, it shows you once again. I know what we said. Ten Hag has recruited very well, but it shows you Man United's failings. Because they wanted Gakpo, and now look at what Gakpo done against them. Instead of Werger, they got Werger now who can't even barely scores a goal. He could really do anything.
Can't move,
And then he can't even move. And then number 2, if you're Real Madrid, they're having a little, you think, well, we shouldn't relax. We should relax. They're on on the beaches of Spain there because 7, geez, Liverpool could turn we know how you guys are
what
on the
happened in the
European
first
night.
leg.
You know,
In the first 15
that
minutes, they
that could
scored
be,
2.
that could be done. That could be done. And Real Madrid ain't great this season either. So now,
There you go.
but
How much did Anthony cost?
86 million.
One trick pony that can't go past any player, always turning in and doing flamboyance or gamesmanship or whatever unsportsmanship of doing spinning balls and going out to play 360 and then getting your own teammates sent off and all sorts of scrappling and whatever. For me,
I saw an interesting stat on Twitter that said Reece Nelson at Arsenal has played only 86 minutes of Premier League football, has got 3 goals and 2 assists. Anthony's played almost 16 games. He's not even been to that.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the stats. Is this Man United need to learn what's it called? Because we said it before previously on last season's shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. Why do you still have to keep going out buying big, like spending big, 85 million or whatever?
But you have to, if you're trying to get quality in the year, you have to.
But sometimes you don't have to, because Liverpool has shown, I'm not being biased, but Liverpool has shown that you can still get these players that are quality for like maybe in the 30 million brackets. How much was Gakpo? 35 million, 36 million. If you had a choice, I'm not being biased. If I had a choice, I'd take Gakpo over Anthony, because Gakpo he's shone at the World Cup. What did Anthony do? A chicken dance.
He didn't even start.
He was doing chicken performances yesterday. Because for me, maybe they got too arrogant. Because when you play this game, you have to remember this: form goes out the window. The rivalry.
It does.
Man United haven't beaten Liverpool at Anfield for 7 years, 7 seasons, and the aggregate score is Liverpool
the stats
18.
Are damning. The stats are damning.
18 goals Liverpool scored against Man United, and Man United has only answered it back with 1 at Anfield. So that says it all. But for me, he should have. We were talking about, because we don't want to spend too long, but even though it was a magnificent 7.
It's fine. 7-0, man.
My throat's getting a bit dry. Let me just get some 7 up. I'm back again. I'm sorry, I was gone for a second. But for me, you have to. We talked about it in the Liverpool versus Real Madrid game, where we've all played football. Once the scoreline's gone,
you hold it now. You don't make damage limitations. Damage limitations.
Because goals are flying left, right, and centre.
Listen. It was so awful. The rumours where Fernandes was begging to come off.
Take me off. No chance. You stay out there and get humiliated. And then I deal with you in the changing room. But for me, a week is a long time in football. Last Sunday, they were jubilating, or 2 Sundays ago, they were jubilating at Wembley. We're back. Randolph, we're not. I'm not talking to you. And that's what happened yesterday. I'm not talking to you. But we're back. No, we're not talking. I'm not talking to you. After that, you must be mad. So for me, last thing I'll say on this game, especially for Man United, you have to be careful. You're playing away and you've got people that don't track back. Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, and Van Horst can't do it because he's too slow.
Yep.
And Rashford tries, but he can't score every game. Rashford, he's on a brilliant run there. But sometimes it dries up in the odd time. But Liverpool, if they can carry on like this, they're definitely now. Bookies have changed their odds now. They put Liverpool as for favourites for 4th, but that can change at any time.
So quick question. So quick question.
United, no quadruple. It was always
a quick question. Quick question before we finish this Liverpool talks. Was it the fact that Liverpool were so brilliant, or was it the fact that United were so poor? And like what Gary Neville was saying on Sky Sports when it was arguing with Souness and Carragher, this is a free result. So you think it was more on Liverpool's brilliance as opposed to United just having a freakish game?
Because you have to remember, because Gary Neville was saying that Man United, Gary Neville and other Man United fans, and Roy Keane even said that Man United were the better team in the first half. So you can't have you were the better team in the first half, and then the next minute, all of a sudden you change. For me, the second half, Liverpool just came out explosive, and from then on, from that whistle, the second half, the power was too much, and they couldn't do nothing. It was slap, and there was nothing they could do. There was nothing they could do.
Nah, nothing they could do, man. Nothing they could do.
And I heard that, back in Manchester now, in Old Trafford, the centre, whatever, City Centre and all that, they've sold out of 7-Up. I've got some in London. Yeah, 7-Up, baby. 7-Up. We end it like that.
I'm sure the share price for 7-Up has gone up as well. Brilliant.
There you are. That's it. But yeah,
well, listen,
as I said,
take over.
They still got a good. I mean, they still got something. They've got to show their recovery in the next game in midweek. I mean, on Thursday in Europa League, and then obviously they got a kind of easier game even on Sunday against Southampton. We'll see what happens over there, but they're still going to be finishing third. They're lucky that there's not enough games possibly for Liverpool to catch them, but who knows? If they don't, they still drop points. They're still possible. But anyway, moving on. Yep. Let's move on to: is Arsenal lucky, or is it Arteta time? Is it Arteta time? Because I remember they said 6 minutes on the clock. The next minute, the rest was history. I'll leave it to you. Go on.
Listen, first of all, I would say this as the old movie line: don't confuse luck for skill. Listen, the Arsenal, I've not done it once this season. They've done it about 3 times this season, scoring late goals. Late goals against Villa, late goals against Nottingham Forest, late goals now against Bournemouth. Listen, that performance, I was losing my voice. I was shouting. I was upset, 2-0 down. And then my boy Reece Nelson comes on, assists one. Ben White gets his first goal for the club. And then I tell you, when that goal went in a 3-2, I was gone. I was shouting, I was screaming, and people were so beat. I could see all over social media, people were beat that Arsenal it was 6 minutes of extra time, but they scored in 97 minutes.
Yeah.
What happened was, and let me just get this out there for people. What happened was, in the injury time of 6 minutes, a Bournemouth player was faking an injury, lying on the trying to waste time, and the ref said, "Okay, no worries, I'm going to add that back in." And that's why it went to 97 minutes and we scored the goal. And then now they're talking about Arsenal celebrations being reported to the FA for players running to the pitch. Listen, emotions were high. Even Arteta was gone, shaking a little child. He didn't even know what he was doing. He was lost himself. Listen.
In the jubilation, that can happen. And for the FA to say that they're going to get involved in that, it's nonsense anyway.
It's nonsense. And it was
last minute, what's it called, celebrations.
Listen, it's been a long time we won the Premier League title, but I remember that feeling when you start to believe it's possible. You know, it's
that feeling.
And that is just a feeling.
I know that feeling, sir. I know that feeling. But for me, brilliant performance there from Arsenal to show their comeback.
We need to stop conceding, though. We need to stop conceding.
They definitely need to stop conceding, because we did last game against Leicester. Even though Leicester are a poor team anyway, but because Leicester
we can't keep bailing ourselves like this. We can't keep bailing ourselves like this. But I'm hoping when
you play a top team, you might not be able to come back.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So that's the thing. But I was saying on social media, and I was saying obviously to Arsenal fans, the second half is the most important 45 minutes again of the season, because as each game as it gets closer, get played, it's important. Every game for Arsenal is a cup final to get over to the end. But
what it shows you the difference between when a manager drills a team very well. Everybody at Arsenal understands that they're responsible for defending. They're on the same page. They could score. Partey in the first half Saliba was awful. Very awful. Partey was next right to him, very awful as well. But then second half, they changed the mentality. Partey came up with the first goal. The ball and everything just changed. And I just love the fact that every player that comes in for Arsenal, I've got confidence in them doing the jobs. Even though some players don't really, they get subbed, Tomiyasu and Cole. But everybody that comes in, I'm like, yep, he would do it.
He's ready.
And we didn't have that as a squad back in the days when we had Mustafi, Socrates, Liechtensteiner, all this crap, Bellerin. Everyone that comes in now, I believe they're competent to do a job. So well done to Arteta. I was against the guy before, saying, listen, he's not this. It happens.
I was against Klopp many years ago.
I'm on the boat. I'm like, let's get down to the destination. Carrying that trophy.
Oxford versus Cambridge boat race. This is Manchester versus North London boat race. But what's it called? As you said, I'll take one thing what you were saying there. changes are important because changes that Arteta made, because that's why
Change the
sometimes,
game.
because I was cussing Klopp in previous games there about his subs were poor defensive subs
Minimum
and no
impact.
impact.
Yeah,
What's it
yeah.
called? Smith Rowe came off the bench, assist. What's he called? As you said, Reece Nelson came off the bench.
Oh yeah,
What's he
Smith
called?
Rowe assist
Assist
as
and
well.
the
Yeah,
winner.
well done. Yeah, Smith
Ben
Rowe.
White came off the bench, scored. Look at that impact subs that came up with what's it
All
called,
of them.
crucial stuff. And the thing is, it's a blow for Bournemouth because even though you scored the second fastest goal in I think in Prem history of 9 seconds or whatever, to get obviously 2-0 up, 2-2, you're thinking let's take the draw, because a point when you look at the tightness down on the bottom of the table, you take.
You know, Bournemouth has got they've got a tendency to blow leads because you see the same thing against Tottenham many times this season against Tottenham.
Yeah.
How did they that game 3-3? Is it 4-3 or 3 or they do the game?
So, but the thing is, what they did was they marked all the good players and they thought, I don't mind leaving Reece Nelson by himself. Because look at that space that Reece Nelson had.
On his left foot, but I didn't think he was
half volley.
On his left foot as well. I didn't think he had that in his.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what Bournemouth thought. They thought he's no one, and now they know he's someone. There you go. Arsenal, continue this. Whatever City do, doesn't matter. As long as you keep winning your games, because every game, is a pressure game, as we were saying, cup final for Arsenal. They need to keep that lead. They need to keep that lead of 5 points before they play City again.
Yeah.
So,
we got a tough run in April, so let's see.
So that's why. But yeah, definitely wonderful there for Arsenal fans there. Ian Wright was out of control, but as you said, like yourself and most Arsenal fans, everyone, even Arteta, you're allowed.
I was wrestling people to the ground, man. I was excited.
There you go. But yeah, definitely. Let's move on to Harry Graham Potter. You finally got a win. How does it feel for them? They've been crying out for a win. Even on my accumulator, I had them down exactly as a 1-0 there because I knew if they could win, I knew they were only going to scrape it. And look who scored.
Yeah. It was. I mean, I watched because I couldn't watch the game, but I watched the extended highlights of the Chelsea game. And I'll probably say they created enough chances. Felix
hit They deserved it.
Yeah. They deserved it. And there was a bit more fluidity, like in the team with the front three of Felix, Sterling, and Havertz. Still could probably incorporate more attackers in there, but I thought the performance, the way I saw them play and the chances they created, they definitely were favourites for the game. Do I see them beating Dortmund?
Not yet. Dortmund on fire. The joint top there of them.
I don't see it, and I feel like once again, Graham Potter missed the trick with not putting a French defender in that Champions League squad, because now when they go play against Dortmund, I'm guessing they're going to push up below, and we know.
But the thing is, the problem was obviously because of the huge buys that they had in that in their 600 million spend.
Their attackers. They were short on defense. They need to pull their attackers.
It's true. Because the thing is, what is it? Mudryk, that's been an absolute flop. And Fernandes had to be there. Ferrari Fernandes. And then obviously, Phoenix had to be there. So it was going to be tricky there it was unfortunate, but that's how the cookie crumbles. That's why you have to do the judgment there. But anyway, Chelsea needed to win that game because when you looked at games that they possibly could end their drought of not getting a win, that was one of the games, especially as Leeds are a bit goal shy there with a striker. I think Bamford was injured, even though he's hot and cold.
When has he been fit? I think for next season they need to do away with him.
Definitely. Bamford, I don't know which is worse, Bamford or Calvert-Lewin. I think Bamford's slightly worse.
They're both English strikers. Correct.
There you go still. But yeah, well done for Chelsea for that. They needed to try and come out of their slump, and they got that still, and also got a clean sheet as well. Well done for Fana for a good header there, goal.
Good header.
But Leeds are in big trouble.
Still above relegation. But
yeah, they're in the tight sinking mess that's down there, about 5 or 6 teams. Hopefully, if we got enough time at the end, we might talk about the relegation dogfight. Moving on to Brighton versus West Ham. My God, West Ham last weekend, the weekend before, they scored 4.
Yeah.
Next minute, that 4 has now been minus back to 0 because you got the point yourself.
They took it away. It's one of those ones you wear a nice jacket to the family house. Next minute, someone's worn the jacket out, and you think, "Where's my jacket?" That's what's happened. Brighton are the surprise team this season. Brighton,
the wonderful.
The football is beautiful, and when Potter was doing such an amazing job at Brighton, and then I thought when this guy came in, I said, let's see what he's going to do. I mean, we both died.
Who is he? That's what most people said.
Yeah, we both died him. And then what he's doing with the same players, obviously with 1 or 2 additions.
He's taking them this, and now it's like that.
Exactly. And you look at the team, it's pretty much the same team, but I like the left back a lot for Brighton. I really like him. Estupildi, I know what his name is. I like Cecilio as a midfielder. McAllister shouldn't be at Brighton too long anyway. Mitoma shouldn't be at Brighton too long. So we keep saying all this plays every season, and then he's found a German Ferguson, even though he didn't score, but the boy's been doing wonders. So listen, well done to Brighton. West Ham, like I said, wouldn't get relegated this season, but my goodness, they really need to think about where.
Because we say that about people not. They should have enough quality. That's why we're saying that they shouldn't be relegated.
Yeah.
But they just need to be careful themselves. Because to be going to Brighton, yes, Brighton is not an easy ground to go to, as I've found out as a Liverpool fan myself there. But you got blown clean. You got hammered by your own hammer. My goodness. Imagine getting hammered by your own hammer. That's what happened there still. But the seagulls are flying there, I tell you, as you said. Brilliant performance there. David Moyes. Be careful, because you're down there with like Brendan Rodgers. We'll come to Brendan as well. There's a list of managers that are walking a tightrope. Brendan has got the backing anyway. But yeah, what's it called? Moving on to another game there. What's happening to Spurs over the last 5 days or 6 days?
No quality, no creativity. I mean, they got flamboyant wing. I mean, I don't say flamboyant wing, but they got good wingers in Son, Kulusevski, Moraz, and Richarlison, Harry Kane, but there's nothing in the midfield. I feel like they lacking. It's either a formation change, and if they ain't gonna change the formation,
that's what.
A formation change, or 2, they need someone else in midfield. They need a big player in certain midfield. Like they need a big player. They needs a big player in midfield, and I feel like they losing Bentancur and
it's a big loss because he gave them a good creativity. He's slightly a different player to Holberg and all that still.
But the thing is, you can't rely on the one player to be fit for the entire season. It's 38 games. So I feel like they really missed the quality, and I think also the defense at Spurs.
We said it. The names are crap. Whoever's playing back there, apart from maybe Romero, even Romero's lacking.
Romero's dodgy. He's dodgy, but the thing is, I saw the amount of chances Wolves created against Spurs the other day. My goodness, it was an onslaught of chances. Neves, flipping Jimenez, Kukurna, like Semedo. They created so many. I mean, I know Spurs hit the woodwork twice with Son and Porro and stuff.
Porro, for once, played well.
He played very well, but those were like the Son one. Okay, was from open play, cool. The Porro was from set piece, but other than that, they were just onslaught of chances. And like what we said about Eric Haaland at Man City, when there's no chances created for Harry Kane, it's a statue.
But the thing is, Spurs have got the same problem. I mean, you know, like Liverpool. Have they
got the same problem? What do you mean?
No. I'm saying they've got a different problem.
You said the same problem.
I did. What I meant to say is they got a problem. Well done. The problem is too much reliance on Harry Kane. No one else can score. Liverpool, other people can score, as we've seen. Arsenal, throughout the team, score. Man City, we know other people can score. Man United, mostly it's Rashford, but some other people can score there. Casemiro and Fernandes sometimes, but they're still above them anyway. Spurs, too much reliance on Harry Kane. If Harry Kane doesn't score, who will score? Song, since he signed a big contract, he's having a very poor season. I don't even know how many league goals he scored. Richarlison, or whatever you call his name, he's the flop signing of the season throughout all club signings. He's the top one there. I think he's played 17 games.
Did he come this season
off the bench, and he hasn't scored a Prem goal.
Is it a season he came through or last season?
He came. Did he come last summer? I think he came when possibly last summer. We might have to do our homework. Regardless, he's crap. Simple. That's all I have to say because there's no chicken dance. How can someone that is the starting striker for Brazil national team not be doing anything in the Premiership with Spurs? As you said, formation needs to be changed. How many top teams play three at the back?
I know.
Most of the top teams are playing 4-3-3. Arsenal 4-3-3. Liverpool 4-3-3. Man City 4-3-3. Man United still play four at the back. That stiffness is crap from Spurs, and the team looks poor. The names are rubbish anyway. There's only about 2 or 3 names you take.
Ricardo came this.
How many names of Spurs players will get into Arsenal team? How many names of Spurs players will get into Liverpool's team? And so on with Man United, and so on with the
only player that gets into the Arsenal team. No, I don't think 1 or 2. I think only one player Spurs gets into the Arsenal team, and that's Kane. And
I like you mentioned Holberg.
Holberg is good, but I wouldn't have Holberg over Partey.
Xhaka?
I wouldn't have Holberg over Xhaka because I feel like what they contributed. I probably might just edge Xhaka around for Holberg. So maybe Holberg or Kane. I might just
that. What's it called? As you said, those are the only 2 there because Son can't get into Liverpool. Son can't get into your team there.
No, Son was quality. I've always wanted him as well for a long time, but I don't know.
I think he's resting his laurels. But a big win for Wolves there still because
big win.
Your favorite, acclaimed manager there still was it Lubiteki or whatever his name is.
But look at what he's doing. Where are they in the table?
Yeah. They are They're just
you go.
Yeah, they're just That was a big win to give them a bit of air. So moving on, Spurs better get back to winning ways because Liverpool's knocking on the door, game in hand, and only 3 points behind them. So they need to sort themselves out.
The season could a worse spiral.
It could fall apart, and then Harry Kane's got a big decision in the summer.
Yeah, because if Daniel Levy can
give them a chance to leave.
If they lose to Milan this weekend, then
it's
our Champions League, and
that's the last silverware.
And then you look at top 4, the pressure, the way Liverpool are playing, the momentum, they might get picked. So why stay at Spurs and play Europa League football?
Then it would be down to Daniel Levy. What's it called? As a businessman, I don't think you'll let him go for free the summer after.
If I'm Harry Kane, if you really maybe
down the tools,
you rip your contract. Tell them I want to go to Man United because it comes to a certain point in your career, you've already made this. You're a legend. You're a legend. You're a legend of Spurs. You've broken the goal scoring record of the top goal scorer ever with Spurs. Now you can go to Man United and you still could hit your ambition of being a Premier League's all-time great. Man United and play European football. My goodness, Harry Kane. Have some ambition. Learn from past guys in flipping Michael Carrick, Berbatov, people that have moved on to greater things and better things. And these people are still welcome back to Spurs. Do the same.
He's done a good service there anyway. He's been there for how many years anyway? 10 years to 11 years from when he was young or whatever. So
no. You can't fault him for leaving. If he leaves, you can't fault him for leaving.
He's tried his best. It's not like Gerrard and Ryan Giggs and certain, and all these kind of, and stuff there. They won trophies.
They wanted. That's why they stayed. Exactly.
So that's okay. You can't compare him to those people because Spurs are not of that quality. So
what do you even say? And I hate to use this player as well because he gets me angry there. But just learn from Van Persie. Mm-hmm. I know Arsenal stuck with him for many years and then when he left Arsenal weren't winning trophies. And then when he left,
he went on to win the Premiership.
When he got to get a Premier League, at least a Premier League medal.
Yeah, and his 29 Premiership goals helped them over the line. So yeah, so there's 2 things that could happen this summer. Spurs could be looking for a new manager.
Both.
And also a new number 9 because Conte's contract is finishing in the summer.
I think Conte's done. Conte's done.
You said he's checked out and all he's signed out already anyway. But it's something to be watching, observing in the summer, regardless if Spurs finish in the top 4, regardless if that happens. If I'm Harry, I'm still going because they're not winning the Champions League. Even if they beat AC Milan, they're not winning the Champions League anyway. They're just prolonging their exit. That's all. Mm-hmm. So moving on to rounding up the other games there.
Yeah. quick one.
Man City there, we expected them to be
Formalities, holding on form, holding on form.
Yeah. So Foden there, as you said, is now he's firing in the last 3 or 4 games there for Man City. He's taking his lesson for being dropped there. That's why I say I like Pep sometimes there still. He doesn't care who you are. You're dropped. As Kevin De Bruyne has been found out as well. Man was dropped, and next minute he was even subbed in this
but I think sometimes Pep's
too arrogant.
I wouldn't say arrogant. We've spoken about the Cancelo thing many times. I think that sometimes you might unsettle your own squad, because if you tell me you pick players based on form and blah blah blah, then if you're Mahrez, you're thinking, what the hell? You dropped me at the start of the season. I worked my way into the team, playing on form. I've not had a bad game since I got into the team. I've been producing. Then I'm dropped all of a sudden.
I think it's the sides when you have a quality side squad.
No,
there.
But I'm just saying, if you're based on the merit of a good performance,
yeah, I know what you're saying, but sometimes also you have to keep the team a bit fresh as well. But Pep knows what he's doing anyway, because he's won enough trophies anyway, apart from the Champions League. Since he's left Barcelona. But once again, Newcastle, you can't score. Wilson missed kick there, blew himself in front of goal. That's Newcastle definitely need to get a top striker.
Hayes actually be starting. Let's not overthink too far ahead. Hayes actually he's had few sub appearances, but Wilson has scored only 1 goal in 16 games. Hayes actually be starting. I don't care
because you bought him for a reason.
Exactly, and we said it before. How did Wilson make it to the World Cup squad? And I know Tony had the
betting scandal,
the incident, but my goodness, shockingly made that World Cup squad and got out there.
It's true, because for me, Wilson needs to Wilson's his backup striker now. He can't be your first choice striker.
Newcastle should just, I think what Newcastle fans should just realize that they might be playing in Europa, because now they're 6th and they're dropping.
Before the season started, they're another team that's pulling above their station. So for me, if they get into the Europa League place, getting into the Champions League, if they're finished there, that would have been almighty stuff come too early, regardless of with the backing of the financial stuff. Yeah. So if they finish in the Europa place, they take it, even though they would be a bit screwing that they've blown themselves not winning their in the cup final, the League Cup final, and then obviously they're having the chance to finish in the top 4. But we'll watch that space. But at the moment, they're behind the likes of Liverpool and Spurs, obviously, and also you got Brighton breathing down their neck. But moving on quickly there, Villa versus Palace there.
Boring game.
Palace. It was a quick one. We'll talk about because I think I had Villa to win that game as well on my accumulator there still, or my Super 6. Palace, even though Zaha scored a goal there, unfortunately, on his return there, which they've been missing, he was offside anyway, so it means nothing. So, but as you said, boring game, not much to say about that, but good win there for Mr. Good Evening there, Emre there. But Palace, I'm sure you'll say the same thing about you said about West Ham. Possibly maybe too good to go down, even though they don't spend too much money. They better be careful, because the form is gone. They're struggling to score goals themselves.
Big time.
And they're always conceding, almost, as you said.
They don't concede much, but I feel like Palace, they safe, but geez, Vieira is having a stinking time there. He needs to really... But then, at the same time, I can't even blame. For me, that's not even a reflection on the manager. It's a reflection on the board and the structure of Palace. The stadium is not getting increased. It's too small. They really buy new players. What do you want? What do you expect?
I think it's a Mike Ashley, London predicament there for Palace there still.
How long?
Game. Yeah, go on.
No. I'm just saying. You look at the players at Palace, the lineup. People that have been there for longer than Zaha's been there for over 5 years. Okay, Olise, Eze, they've not been there, but are you okay? Lokonga, the team's crap, man.
Klein has come back full circle.
I know.
Yeah. So for me, you say Palace are safe, but Palace have to be careful. They got Man City next, even though they've got a good record against Man City. Palace, they have to be careful, because some of these other teams that are just below them start going on a little 1-2 wins or something. Palace they'll be reeled in.
It's true.
move on. We're gonna move on to Leicester now. What's it called? Because Leicester, after having a good little run of I think 3 or 4 games, they're now back in. As I said against Arsenal, and I think the game before that, it's now back to the old Leicester, the Leicester of the start of the season, shipping goals and doing nonsense. That was a big game against Southampton. Ward-Prowse, you're able to score from 25 yards and 30 yards, but from 12 yards, you're a howler. But luckily, you got Mr. Alcatraz or Alcaraz. He saved you there still. Alcatraz. Escaped from Alcatraz. That's what happened to Ward-Prowse. He escaped it because of Alcatraz. But big win for Southampton there still.
Hold on.
Yeah, top movie there. Well done. But what's it called?
Hold on a second. Top movie. Clint the Ghosted. Are you coming or not? Are you coming or you're not? I'll stay. So scared as well. So scared. I don't even see the scene on the roof.
And then when you wanted to come, you couldn't.
You couldn't. It was too late.
Because you needed someone to help you, and it was all over. Blew himself there. You have to be brave. You only get one chance to escape such a place.
Exactly.
And he blew himself. But just like Leicester are now in the big dog fight that's down there. There's about 5 or 6 teams down there, and you look at Leicester. They can't stop shipping the goals.
They've lost the last 4 games again now. I think they went. And but then you
drop your friend Iheanacho.
You excuse that because the Premiership games against Arsenal and Man United, you expect them to lose, which they did. But they losing to Blackburn in the FA Cup was an alarming sign, and then losing to Southampton. Wow,
that was a big alarm.
I didn't see that coming. I thought maximum you need a draw that game, but Southampton would be, would be happy with that point.
There you go. Not even that 3 points. But moving on quickly because of time permitting there. The Sunday game there, which was a bit of goal fest there. Forest versus Everton there. I think I had Forest to win, so I didn't get that one right. But what's it called? Everton, you did twice. What's it called? You did say draw. Everton, you lead twice away from home. Any team that normally leads twice, especially against not a team that you should possibly be looking at getting 3 points, you try and hold on to the lead. At least one thing that Sean Dyche has done. Maybe watching our show, he started
the main Gray. Yeah,
there you go. Even though it was a penalty, but he looked good in that game still. That's the way forward for the time being.
I mean, Everton are,
they're poor, man. They're poor.
Well, one week they show something, and next week they're back into this. But listen. Like you were saying about Arsenal, every week is a cup final. Every week is a cup final for Everton because, to be honest, I don't know with the Everton squad. I don't know who turns up, what kind of performance they're going to turn up with. But I would say the formation this weekend was just a bit better with Gray, McNeil, Iwobi. Stu could be a bit better there. But then you look at the Everton bench. Who really could change the game? There's no one. There's literally the bench is awful. You can't even name names.
That's why you only made 2 changes.
Apart from Davis or Mopai.
That's why you only made 2 changes.
So yeah.
For all Nottingham Forest is buying on 28 and 29 players. Their player of the season has been a player that brought them back up from the championship, and he's been a top player for them. He's the one that's carrying the team. Jesse Lingard, how much is he on per week? He's been awful. 2-year signing. Lucky it's only 2 years because he can't even get into the team. But Brendan Johnson, well done for a great performance there to get the point there for Forest there and keep their very good home unbeaten record at home for the last 3 or 4 months there still, which you pointed out in the last episode. But there's a big dogfight there down the table there. Let's quickly talk about tonight's game. There was that was another goal fest there, and then Fulham there finished the game there with a 3-2 win. Even though once they made it 3-1 there, the goal that Vinicius scored was in the injury time, and it was too late there. But it just made the scoreline look better. But well done, another good season there for Brentford there, and they're doing very well. And they're looking for maybe outside, place in Europe.
Nah, not a chance. No.
What's it called? You say that, but where are they in the table?
Are they the 8th or something? Let me double check. 8th?
They moved up to 9th there still. So Well, I mean,
Like,
it'd be tight because what's the last place? Is it sixth or seventh? I think it's six, isn't it?
six or seven. But I feel like Brentford, what they've shown
Could
in
be
the
pushed
Premier
down to seven because of what's it called? Man United winning the League Cup anyway, so it could be pushed
League,
down still.
they're a good mid-table team. I feel like they got a Scandinavian midfield and Jensen, Damsgaard and Nordgaard.
Yeah,
You know,
Thomas
some,
Franks is doing a very good job there still. He's
yeah,
giving them, and they're
they're
playing,
a good
they
mid-table
play good
team.
football as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
Not
good
not
mid-table
boring
team.
football there, like
And
what's it
they,
called, Sean Dyche or whatever.
you know,
Even
and
if
they're
Sean
battered
Dyche had
United at
good
the start of the
players,
season.
even if Dyche had good players, he'd still be playing dire football.
Oh, let's
Let's
not
not
don't.
talk about him anyway. But Fulham, look,
Some
Fulham
people,
are looking like
some people think we're picking on Sean Dyche. So I don't
let's not, let's not. People, Fulham are a bit like what's it called, Newcastle. They're afraid of the heights, dizzy heights, and nose bleeding is happening. That's what's happening. That's all we can say about that. But Fulham, like what's it called, that Newcastle are having a brilliant season, even
yeah,
though they're
yeah.
fading at the little bit of the last what's it called few hurdles there still, but they're still having a brilliant season when you look at what they've
Yeah,
achieved so
exactly. Where
far.
the position
And
is at the table, you have to.
there you go.
Yeah.
But let's have a quick look. As I said, you look at the bottom. What's it called of the table there?
Have we still got time for that? Have we still got time?
But we haven't actually. But I'm just saying that it's at least 5 or 6 teams that are involved in that. What's it called? Relegation dogfight. There still. It'd be interesting. But I know your focus is the top end of the table, right at the top. My focus is just outside the gates to try and get into the European Champions League places there still. That's my focus. Obviously, everyone that watches our show have different focuses. Even there you go still. Even the ones that don't even support Premiership teams. You've got Napoli. Napoli have tasted there's only their second defeat of the season there to Lazio there at home. That was a blow.
I was surprised.
I can't remember the last time Napoli didn't score in a game. When Napoli don't score, it's alarm bells.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
AC Milan are in poor form going into the game.
I think
going into that game against Spurs in poor form again.
In poor form. I think they've been on since the restart. They've been on poor form.
So what's it called? Spurs have got a chance. It's just that Spurs are struggling to score, and AC Milan, I think they might possibly score against Spurs.
They might score because the Spurs defense is awful. Awful defense, Spurs, so they might score.
So we've already talked about that, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed what's it called show. I'm gonna definitely finish this 7 up there anyway, still because the throat is a bit dry from shouting yesterday. But well done, 7 up. Come and sponsor us there still. We need what's it called advertising, and we've done it for you there still. So help us with the funds.
It's true.
What have you got to sign off with, Grand Champ?
I'll just say cheeky from flipping Liverpool.
Nelson.
Cheeky from Klopp trying to spell Henrik Ten Hag, and then I think they said, "What did you say, Gaffer?" Henrik Seven Hag, and then next minute, said, "Okay, go on, give them 7." So if Klopp's accent was a bit clearer, it could have been Henrik Ten Hag. But
there you go.
listen,
yeah. Luckily, there was not another 5 minutes or Arteta time. We might have got 7 against. Might have got what's it, 8, 9, or 10.
Relax.
Arteta was like this. Referee, ref. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Well done. Enjoy.
Nice one.